Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Operation Freedom Briefings. The goal of these briefings and my weekly radio show is to provide you information the bought-off lamestream fake media will not touch. You can join us every Sunday on our radio show. It's free. Go to davejanda.com, stream the show live. Go to davejanda.com, hit the upper right-hand corner, the Listen Live button. We're there for you 2 to 5 every Sunday. Great guests, great analysis, information the fake media will never touch. We're also available 24/7, obviously on this YouTube channel, but we're also available on davejanda.com for you 24/7. We have a free site, a public site, where we upload information on a very regular basis. We also have our subscription service, 30 cents a day, about $9 a month. You can sign up for a month, get rid of it if you don't like it. On the other hand, the information you get, you won't see in the fake media. We have extra shows, our WTF geopolitical show, from information I bring forward from my contacts over the past 20, 30 years on geopolitical issues. We also have our Insider Insight show. We have a featured interview of guests the fake media will never bring on their platform. Again, providing information that will benefit you on an immediate basis. We have our Department of Advanced Research show with Nick Ruiz on IT issues. We also have our contributing editor section, the podcast available for our subscribers. Tremendous amount of content. Hope you'll join us. Today's topic is President Trump and the Freedom Movement versus the deep state socialists. Look, it's coming to a head. And I think this is a battle and a war we're in the process of winning. You know, we took a shot at the deep state last week on this platform. Well, we do every week. But in particular, this past week, we got a lot of positive feedback from our Freedom family. Also got a lot of negative feedback from the deep state. In particular, if you haven't listened to the interview I did with Charles Woods, father of Ty Woods, one of the 4 victims in Benghazi, you need to listen to it. It's right there on our platform. Please listen to it because there's some follow-up coming. On our Insider Insight show on our subscription service, there were a number of whistleblowers that were present in operation centers around the world when Benghazi occurred that watched that interview on YouTube. And they came to Charles Woods and they got in contact with me as well. We're presenting a whistleblower on our Insider Insight show on davejanda.com that blows open the entire Benghazi event. And there are more to follow. Charles has been in constant contact with a number of whistleblowers who, when they saw Charles' interview on YouTube, said, enough. I can no longer stay silent. It's enormous. And it's going to blow open the deep state like it's never been blown open before, and their puppets. You know, the deep state are behind and are with this socialist movement. The deep state's all about socialism, communism, totalitarianism. And the socialist movement is imploding. I mean, one of their little puppets, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC as they call her, came up with this Green New Deal. Now, when I first saw it, I thought it was something off that site, The Onion, that does these, these comedy routines off of kind of policy. Well, it wasn't The Onion. It was the real deal. And this Green New Deal is no deal for anyone who has freedom in their heart. I mean, just look at some of these things in this Green New Deal, and people are roundly rejecting it. Yet, you have 6 presidential candidates on the progressive side that have embraced it. Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, just to name a few, saying, oh yeah, this is great. And when AOC was giving this presentation about the Green Deal, there were like these 43 bobbleheads behind her saying, oh yeah, this is good. Okay, this is good. Ban affordable energy. This is from David Harsanyi from The Federalist. Eliminate nuclear energy. Eliminate 99% of cars. Gut and rebuild every building in America. No price tag associated with that, right? Eliminate air travel. A government guaranteed job. Free education for life. A healthy diet, a house for every American, free money for every American. And then he adds bonus insanity, a meat ban. Oh yeah, why? And this is a direct quote from AOC. Quote, because we aren't sure we'll be able to fully get rid of farting. Because we aren't sure that we'll be able to fully get rid of farting cows. I kid you not, right? and airplanes that fast, the only get rid of farting cows is to get rid of beef. Okay, hitch your wagon to that. So, the Green New Deal, if somebody finally did an economic analysis of it, and guess what? Instituting the Green New Deal would cost a mere haircut money. $93 trillion with a T, $93 trillion. Okay, I live in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Okay, where these people right outside this window, they cannot give them enough government. Okay, I mean, they love government. Government is pure. It is perfect. You can't have enough of it. Even most of them aren't signing on to the Green New Deal. And then add to that. So on top of this Green New Deal, this past week, I mean, this socialist agenda is just, I mean, if you're President Trump, you have to be thrilled. I mean, this is your competition? This is who you're going to be running against? Democrats vote to give illegal aliens, the right to vote. House Democrats voted this past Friday to defend localities that allow illegal aliens to vote in their elections, turning back a GOP attempt to discourage the practice. Discourage the practice? How about it's illegal? The vote marks a stunning reversal from just 6 months ago when the chamber, then under GOP control, voted to decry, imagine that, illegal immigrant voting. Yeah, there's a little deal called the Constitution, right? Okay. Quote, "We are prepared to open up the political process and let all the people come in," end quote, Representative John Lewis, a Georgia Democrat, told colleagues as he led opposition to the GOP measure to block illegals from voting. The socialist agenda is falling apart. You see, the far left, the far progressives in this country that are supporting that, the far right will never support it. The leaning right will never support it. The center will never support that. And the center left will not support that. But remember, one of the big other entities they hitch their wagon to, the whole farting cow thing, and is global warming, man-made global warming. Well, socialists took another hit again this week. Here we go. Global warming, a hoax and scam pushed by greedy government scientists. Who said that? Greenpeace's co-founder. What? Not exactly a center-left kind of guy. Patrick Moore, the co-founder and former president of Greenpeace, Patrick Moore, says that climate change is a complete hoax and scam, which has been taking over science with superstition and a kind of toxic combination of religion and political ideology, end quote. According to Moore, the climate change movement has co-opted and corrupted politicians and bureaucracies in order to exert further control over people. Right. Can you say deep state? Globalist syndicate? Moore explained, noting that green companies only exist on the back of taxpayers. And one of their other hallmarks is socialized medicine. Remember when Obama was pushing Obamacare down your throat, and his little buddy Don Berwick was in there, and Ezekiel Emanuel, and they were saying, "Oh, we want to emulate the system in the UK. Oh, it's so perfect." Well, take a guess. This is what hit this week. Socialized healthcare reality exposed. 30,000 dead due to record-long hospital waiting times. Exactly what I've always told you. Socialized medicine, government-run healthcare system are based on the most inhumane means of cutting healthcare costs. It's the rationing and denying of care. This from Mark Salvo. Quote, "Medicare for All's proponents, big part of the Green New Deal, big part of the socialist agenda, big part of the deep state. Medicare for All's proponents say single payer delivers high quality free care to all. Britons idling on waiting lists, unable to secure the care they need, would surely beg to differ." The National Health Service in Britain, their leaders, those in charge of the United Kingdom's socialized healthcare, have said that hospital wait times have reached record lengths. Waiting times in emergency departments in England last month were at their worst levels since records began. The figures should be a wake-up call to the government and socialists in the United States. The United Kingdom's horror story should dissuade Americans from accepting any form of single-payer healthcare or national healthcare. The National Health Service in England, UK, which celebrated its 70th anniversary this past July 5th, is imploding rapidly. The NHS has struggled to fully staff its hospitals and clinics since its inception in 1948, but today, the shortages are growing worse. 9% of physician posts are vacant, making the disastrous and deadly shortfall of nearly 11,500 doctors. The National Health System is also short 42,000 nurses. The shortage of providers is what's causing long wait times. 4.3 million people in the United Kingdom were on waiting lists for surgery, a 10-year high. These wait times are killing people. An analysis that covered just half of England's hospitals found that almost 30,000 patients died in the past year while waiting for treatment. Their agenda is imploding. Good for the freedom fighters. Frankly, good for President Trump. But it's not just their agenda that's melting. The puppets of the deep state, the folks that are behind the Green New Deal, behind socialized medicine, behind the global warming faux issue. Their puppets, the deep state puppets, are also melting. I know. Nothing's happening. No, there's a lot happening. Recently, FBI's former top lawyer, James Baker, came out. Actually, it was leaked, his testimony. You see, there's a stealth declassification going on where information is being leaked, probably through the Inspector General's office, Department of Justice, Michael Horowitz. I mean, let's face it. Lisa Page's testimony was leaked. You know, the part of her testimony where she said, quote, "The White House wants to direct this," end quote, this being the fake Russian collusion hoax. Yeah. Or Bruce Orr's testimony was leaked. That the fact that he actually gave information to the FBI in August 2016, that the dossier was paid for by the Clinton campaign and the DNC, yet the FISA court issued the warrants on Carter Page in October 2016, 2 months later, that testimony was leaked. Or that what James Baker said here, FBI's top lawyer thought Hillary Clinton should be criminally prosecuted, but he was persuaded to change his mind. Quote, "I had the belief initially after reviewing, a large binder of her emails that had classified information in them. The FBI's top lawyer, General Counsel James Baker, initially thought that Hillary Clinton should face criminal charges for transmitting classified information over her insecure private email server, according to transcripts from a 2018 closed-door congressional testimony. John Solomon of The Hill released that. There's a stealth declassification occurring, and it's melting the deep state puppets, just as their agenda is being melted, whether it's the Green New Deal or socialized medicine or global warming. Then we had Tricia Anderson's deposition being leaked, where she actually said, quote, "The Trump campaign was infiltrated," end quote. We had the 19,000 text messages that were scrubbed, were lost, and then all of a sudden found by the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz. And then those text messages were leaked about the White House wanting to direct this. About the fact, something we brought up earlier in a video a couple weeks ago, that on March 19th, 2017, General Tom McInerney came on my show, Operation Freedom, and spoke about how Obama had directed his director of the CIA, Brennan, and his director of national intelligence, James Clapper, and hired a guy very early in the administration, as far back as 2009, to create a system called the Hammer to illegally surveil not just Trump and Flynn and their team, but millions of Americans, to target them. Emails, phone calls, internet activity, financial transactions, a violation of the Fourth Amendment rights of, yes, then Donald J. Trump, citizen, but also millions of Americans. When we talked about that on the radio show, there were text messages that were initially lost, then found by the Inspector General, that spoke about our interview on that night. It was a couple minutes after the interview was on, from 4:30 to 5 Eastern. The text messages were minutes afterwards. This was reported by investigative reporter Mary Fanning. But the granddaddy of them all, of their puppets, that they was going to bring down Trump because, Baker was supposed to do that, Page, Strzok, or they're all melting. But the granddaddy who was going to bring him down was Donald Trump's own attorney, Michael Cohen. Now, my email box got jammed full of people when they watched some of his testimony saying, "Oh, it's over for the president. Oh, this is disastrous." It wasn't disastrous. Cohen, in fact, exonerated the president. It's interesting. If you look at his testimony, Cohen admitted that his testimony was discussed. It was developed with his consultation with the Democratic National Committee, Democratic leadership, the chairman of the committee he was testifying in front of, Cummings, Adam Schiff, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. In fact, it's come out that, he had 4 meetings with Schiff's staff. 10 hours. Cohen also stated he met with, quote, various individuals within the Democratic Party. And remember, his attorney was Lanny Davis. The Lanny Davis. Bill and Hillary's fixer. Lanny Davis. Lanny Davis, who Michael Cohen stated was doing this pro bono. I first ran into a bit of Lanny Davis back in 1992 and 93 when I was asked by Senator Bob Dole, and along with a couple other people, to review Hillary Care. We provided information that ultimately led to Hillary Care being tossed aside. Lanny Davis does nothing for money, for nothing. He would not represent his mother for free, I believe. He's one of those people that when you are around him and you walk away, you want to take an immediate shower. There are very few people in the world I've been around like that. He's one of them. Lanny Davis, I believe, represented Michael Cohen very poorly. So do many other people that have legal backgrounds. A number of my sources in the legal community told me that they believe Lanny Davis had Michael Cohen plead to a couple charges that were not, in fact, criminal in nature. Michael Cohen also admitted, and maybe this is why Lanny Davis is representing him, admitted that he recorded not just conversations with Donald Trump, but with about 100 of his other clients. Are you aware that up until the 2016 election, Michael Cohen was a Democrat? Michael Cohen, some of his clients were actually the Clintons. In fact, there is on my Twitter feed, I posted a picture from Michael Cohen from June 26, 2014, where there's a picture of Michael Cohen, big smile on his face, shaking the hands of Hillary Clinton, with Patrick Kennedy on his other side, at the Kennedy compound in Hyannis. And here's what Michael Cohen wrote. Quote, this is June 26, 2014 from his Twitter feed, and I reposted it. Being received by two great Americans, Hillary Rodham Clinton and Patrick Kennedy at the Kennedy compound, end quote. Yeah. So maybe the reason why Lanny Davis is, quote, representing Cohen is because Lanny Davis is ultimately trying to protect the Clintons. Maybe Michael Cohen also taped the Clintons in some conversations. And maybe Lanny Davis is there pro bono. Wonder who's paying him. We know. Because he wants to suppress the information coming out on the Clintons. And his role was to make sure Michael Cohen went to prison and shut up. Frankly, in prison, I think Michael Cohen has something to fear. But not from President Trump, as he states he was concerned about. I think he has everything to fear that the Clintons will do something based on him potentially taping them and him having knowledge of some of their actions. When you look at Michael Cohen's testimony, and John Solomon of the Hill spoke about this, he essentially exonerated President Trump. Yeah, he said some ugly things, but on the other hand, he exonerated him. Cohen told lawmakers he had no proof of Russia-Trump election collusion. Cohen also provided testimony and knew that he never went to Prague, that Cohen never did, to help rig the 2016 election with Russians, thus undercutting one of the main accusations in the Hillary Clinton-funded Steele dossier used by the FBI to justify a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrant on the Trump campaign. This is something that Adam Schiff has maintained all along. Cohen also publicly debunked a BuzzFeed News report in January that Trump directed Cohen to lie to Congress and provided evidence to Special Counsel Robert Mueller's office. Cohen did say he overheard a conversation which Trump advisor Roger Stone gave the future president a heads up in July of 2016 that WikiLeaks was about to publish hack emails from Democrats. I'll tell you what, though, folks. Assange stated he had emails that he was going to release on the Clinton campaign and on the Clintons and their advisors as early as June 26th. That's no new news. As Solomon states, okay, so no Russian collusion, no trip to Prague, no direct instruction to lie, no secret effort asking WikiLeaks to hack the Democratic National Committee. Interesting, if you look at Lanny Davis's background, they talk about Russian collusion. Do you know that Lanny Davis, he's partner and co-founder of the law firm Davis, Goldberg, and Galper. Are you aware that they're registered active foreign agents for the Ukrainian oligarch Dmitry Firshtak? And who is he an ally of? Oh, yeah. Vladimir Putin. Cohen has huge ties in the Ukraine through his father-in-law. We all know, and it's been made public, that the Ukrainian government was actively working on behalf of Hillary Clinton and against Donald Trump in the campaign. You want Russian collusion? You want Ukrainian collusion? You got it. But it's not with Donald Trump. It is with Hillary Rodham Clinton. The timing of Cohen's testimony as that deep state puppet melted was not a coincidence that occurred when President Trump was in North Korea. You see, the deep state does not want an agreement with North Korea. They want that boogeyman out there, shaking those nuclear weapons, and possibly even setting one off. You know, the deep state, they love nothing better than a nuclear blast, killing all of us useless eaters. But they wanted to put pressure through Cohen on Trump and have Trump agree to a bad deal with the North Koreans, and the president did not take it. They wanted to put the president in a position with Cohen coming forward, and it did not work because he essentially exonerated Trump on all these fronts. They wanted to put the president in a position that he would accept the bad deal, and he didn't. This from Zero Hedge. Sometimes you have to walk. Hanoi summit ends in disarray as Trump balks at Kim. Power move. The Chinese were testing Trump and his negotiations if he would accept the bad deal. He didn't. You can't beat the master negotiator. They were also trying to pin him in a position where he accepted a bad deal with North Korea. Trump told reporters that the talks collapsed after North Korea refused to yield from its demand that the U.S. completely remove all of U.S.-led international sanctions. That's what the deep state was pushing for. They were pushing for Trump back off on all sanctions, and then North Korea give a little, and then they could hammer him for that. He didn't take the bait. In exchange for the shuttering of the North's Yongbyon nuclear facility, Trump and Pompeo refused to make a deal without the North committing to giving up its secretive nuclear facilities as well as missiles and warheads. Trump, you want sanctions removed on a step-by-step basis. You're going to knock down that nuclear facility and you're handing over your warheads and your missiles. North Korea balked. Trump walked. The deep state thought that they could get him in a situation where they could hammer him once he got home. Now, how are they hammering him at this point? They're making stuff up. NBC News and Andrea Mitchell, whose claim to fame is she lives with her 90-plus-year-old hubby, Alan Greenspan, deep state player, has been making stuff up. Oh, he's had a terrible week. Judge Napolitano. Flip there. Boy, I don't know what they got on the judge, but man, that guy flipped. Judge, Trump had a bad week. Cohen testified. Cohen exonerated him. Oh, President Trump had a bad week. The North Korea deal fell apart. He didn't take a bad deal. What's the problem there? Oh, President Trump had a bad week. This is Napolitano. Oh, the North Koreans are rebuilding their facilities. Really? Because my sources have said exactly the opposite, and I'll hold my sources up against anybody's. In fact, my sources have been telling me, rebuilding? No. They're continuing to deconstruct. Well, prove it, Dave. Okay. Here we go. William Craddock, Disobedient Media, just came out with this today. The media is lying about reconstruction in North Korea's Sohae launch facility. Oh. One of the primary causes of concern has been a series of reports from NBC News, Andrea Mitchell, claiming that commercial satellite footage shows that Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the North Korea, has been engaging in fresh construction at their Sohae launch facility in preparation for an alleged missile launch or test. However, independent analysis of the photos indicates that the activity at the Sohae facility is related to, you'll find this shocking, deconstruction. Exactly what my sources have been saying. The reports are driven by a number of entities with connections about the construction. Imagine this, Mockingbird Media, right? Okay, Operation Mockingbird. A number of entities with connections to the Central Intelligence Agency and a number of other special interests which call into credibility both the veracity of the reports and the journalistic integrity of NBC News. That would be Andrea Mitchell, Carol Lee, and Courtney Kube. The imagery that they rely on suffers from two defects. The fact that the images show two different facilities being attributed as one by NBC and the purported construction activity indicates actual dismantling of the Sohae site rather than fresh additions or repairs. Bottom line, the socialist agenda is imploding. The socialist puppets are imploding. Whether they're Michael Cohen or Lisa Page or James Baker, the former general counsel for the FBI, or Clapper or Brennan or Obama or Clinton or Andrea Mitchell from NBC News, they're all melting. They want you to believe that President Trump and the freedom movement are imploding. They're not. You know what they're doing? They're winning. And that has the deep state desperate, panicked, and hysterical. I thank you for joining me on our platform. Please join us 24/7, davejanda.com. Join us on the subscription side. Become a member of our Freedom family. 30 cents a day, $9 a month. Information you will never see in the bought-off lamestream fake media. This week, we have a whistleblower from Benghazi, from the Operations Center, coming forward. It's huge, and it's a dagger in the heart of the deep state. I thank you for your time. I thank you for joining me. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail.